All right, this is Matt Mrozek, and this will be a short taping tutorial. I posted updated photos of my Captain America last night, and I actually got quite a few questions on how I masked off all the leather bits. So I've done this before, but I'll do it for all of my new friends and new people who are watching my work. So I'm gonna get ready to spray the sole of the boots. You saw yesterday that I did all this leather work on here, and this was all masked off with tape. So to go through the steps I did to get this far is I sprayed this metallic blue, and then I went in and I shaded it with some clear, it's called clear black green from Garage Kits. Just gave it a little shading. Did that on, both sides, and then once that was dry, I masked that off, and then I sprayed my red leather color, and the colors I used for that was, the base coat was Mars Red, and then I took equal parts of Mars Red and True Red, mixed those 50-50, and it gave me kind of my red tone, and I just sprayed the highlights, just the raised parts, going through all the areas. I sprayed that, and then to get the shading look, I just went through with the transparent leather tan to get all the shading you see, and I just went in real close with my airbrush to do the post shading. For the lighter tan, it's just two colors. I first base coated with leather tan, and then I did the shading with the transparent leather tan. Again, just getting in really close with my airbrush, hitting the seams and all the shadows and stuff. So this is where I am now. On the other boot, I actually have this part painted in metal, but I'm going to redo it because I don't like the color I sprayed. So this one hasn't been sprayed yet. So I don't care if I get color on this anyway, because it's going to get a different color. So now I'm on to the part where I'm ready to spray the soles, and the shoelaces will get, or the laces will get hand painted, because that'd be a nightmare to mask. So it's relatively simple. You need your masking tape. In this case, I'm using Tamiya. This is their 18mm tape. Use whatever tape works best for you, width-wise. You need a brand new blade. I go through a lot of blades when I'm masking, and you want to use the X-Acto brand X-Life. They'll last longer. They're sharper. Or not, I shouldn't say they're sharper, but they'll last longer. You know, I have an X-Life because it's got a blue tint to the metal, so they'll stay sharper longer. It's just a better blade. You can get a box of 100 off Amazon for like 10 bucks. I bought 2 boxes. I have 200 blades. And then I have a couple tools I use for actually sealing the tape. One is a wooden skewer where the tip's been broke off and it's blunted, so it's not sharp. It's kind of blunt. And then actually I discovered that using my little rubber sculpting tools, I use these for doing like aves, blending seams, works really well to get the tape in place. So now the way I do it, a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing it because it involves cutting right on the piece, but as long as you have a new blade and you're careful, you should be okay. And this is the way I prefer because I get an exact edge. So just get yourself a piece of tape, and then you're just gonna, so I'm gonna work on this part right here, and I'm going to put it on just real loose. I'm going to cover up the edge and everything. I'm not going to worry about placing it exactly where it needs to go, because what I'm going to do is with the tape loose, I can kind of push it where I need it to go. So I'm just going to kind of place it there, and I'm going to use my skewer, and I'm going to go right up to the edge right here. And that's the edge that I'm going to cut along. That's the outline, and I'm just going to follow that around. Again, leaving the tape loose, so you don't want to push it down yet, because you need that slack in the tape in order to get that edge down. So once I'm happy with this piece of tape on where I have it sealed, like this, I can follow around the shape. As long as that tape is loose, I can follow the shape of that I need. If I try to put it down real tight at first, it won't. The tension won't allow me to do this, seal it. And you can see basically I just outlined where I need the tape to the next color. So that's pretty good. Now I'm just going to go ahead and push this down just like that. And this is the part where people get a little scared because you have to cut on your piece. But if you just when you do this, don't put a lot of pressure on it. The important thing is you have a brand new blade, and don't put pressure on it. Let the blade do the work. So just starting here, and I may come in a little closer off the camera because I like to get real close. You're just going to put the blade right in that little seat, that little groove there, and just slightly drag it. Real slow. Just go slow. Don't, if you push too hard, you try to go fast, it's going to slip, and you have a good chance of cutting yourself or messing up some work you've already done. So I'm just putting the blade right in the crevice there where the tape is. Again, I'm not really putting any pressure on. I'm letting the blade do the work. And just follow that outline. Again, just trying to go slow. Don't need to hurry. And then this part can come off. You can see right there, I've got a perfect edge. Just like that. And then I go back in, I just push that tape back down because it might want to lift up a little bit. And just go back and just lightly push it back down to seal it. Just like this. Okay. And we're going to just follow that process around this boot. This should take me 5 to 10 minutes to do. Doesn't take long. And again, I'm just going to overlap this piece a little bit. Again, just kind of leaving it loose so I can put it where I want. So another reason that this is not that difficult for me is in a former life, I used to paint cars for a living. I used to restore 55, 56, and 57 Thunderbirds. I did paint and body work. So masking to me is not really difficult because I've been doing it for a very long time. So I've always been, when I used to paint cars, they'd always ask me to be the one to mask it because I was really good at it. So that was, you know, masking off trim and stuff if we weren't taking the car all apart. But again, just with this brand new blade, you'll know you need a new blade is if you feel like you have to put pressure on it to cut the tape. If you feel like you're having to put pressure down to get it to cut, it's time to change blades. Just like that. And we're going to go back around and just kind of, so especially on a kind of a compound curve like this, you want to make sure and go back there and just kind of seal it down because the tape will wrinkle a little bit as it goes around that curve. Just go back and lightly push it down to seal it. Sorry about the banging. I have no idea what's going on downstairs. Sounds like my house is falling apart. Again, I've just put the tape on loose. And we're just going to get it in the crevice there. I'm actually blunting this tip on the skewer a little bit more by actually putting it in my mouth a little bit and chewing on it. If it's too sharp, you'll just tear the tape. You don't want to tear the tape. You want a nice soft utensil. So push in there. There we go. Sometimes I have to pull the tape back to see where I need to go with where it needs to go. There we go. Right there. Okay, once I feel like I got that in the right spot, I'm going to push it down a little bit. See, I tore the tape there a little bit with my skewer. I may have to go back and add a little piece of tape there. We'll see. So this kit is really, really freaking amazing. It's got so much cool detail. See, my knife slipped there a little bit because I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, so it's going to be off camera a little bit here because I can't see the edge very well. And have it in front of the camera, so give me just a second and I'll show it to you. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, so my skewer tore the tape there a little bit, so I'm gonna go back and just put a little tiny piece of tape in there to cover that where it tore. Otherwise, it won't be a straight line. I mean, when I say small, it's gonna be itty bitty. I have on my cutting board here, I have a bunch of little scrap tape that I have just kind of laid out so I can cut off little pieces as I need. Or stuff just like this. So I should a little bigger piece. That one's too small. Come on. There we go. Oh, I did the stars last night too on the boots. Those turned out nice. All right, so we're gonna need probably one more piece of tape across the toe here, and I can do the last bit with this just saran wrap. Again, I told you that I showed that one part where it's going to be a metal color, so I really don't care if that gets sprayed. The color of the sole. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come this way. I'll mask over it anyway, just so it's consistent with the other one. Just like that, outlining. See, my tape's wanting to wrinkle a little bit there. Actually, now my skewer's too blunt. I made it too soft. Use your fingernail too. My fingernails are long right now, so it works. Just like that. Okay. Again, I'll try to do this on camera, but I may have to come off camera to get closer to it so I can make sure I'm cutting where I need to. I had not planned on doing this kit right after Thor, but I got to a point on the bust I'm doing that I had really I figured I'll throw some paint on. I'll start throwing some paint on Captain. And I got the portrait done. I'm like, well, I might as well keep going and knock him out. So that'll probably be done in the next week or so. Okay. So let's see how that looks. Looking pretty good. Okay. All right, so that's how you get a clean edge, just like that. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap some saran wrap around the rest of it. You don't have to be neat about this because I'm going to seal it up with some tape, but this just covers a large area quickly. Like that. And then we'll use some. I go through a lot of tape too. I don't have a problem spending money on supplies. I rather, you know, it's much cheaper to spend money on tape or whatever than it is to screw hours and hours and hours of work up by trying to, I do use blue painter's tape every once in a while, but I just find the Tamiya tape much better. After all, it is designed for our hobby. So I go through a lot of it. I'm not shy about using tape. And all this paint has been drying since last night, so I'm not worried about masking over it. And actually, last night I was doing the leather. I did one color, I sealed it, I hair dried it, and I masked right over it shortly afterwards. And as long as you don't leave it on there too long, it'll come off without lifting your paint. So, but that's it. Short little masking tutorial. Not too difficult. Don't be too nervous about cutting on a part. Just make sure your knife is sharp and you go slow, and it should work out just fine for you. So there you go. 15-minute tutorial on masking. As always, thanks for watching. It's Matt Mrozek. See you guys later.